that gone. And like I said, just destroy the tree. This wood is really of not much use for anything, even chipping. It's not the bestest. It doesn't feed through a chipper very well. So I'm just looking at getting rid of all the bits. Come on, bits, go away. How's that look? Looks like I killed most of it. I didn't leave any in the road, so that's also good. So that'll give me a little bit more space along the edge here. And I may come back and deal with probably 2 or 3, maybe 4 more of those that are a little bit closer to the field and just in the way. Okay, that's that spraying done. I only have 2 tractors running, so somebody's finished or stuck again. Well, the Massey Ferguson's still running, so that should mean that the John Deere needs some supervision. Drop all of that off. We'll go check on the John Deere as soon as I'm done here. Yeah. You are kind of done, mostly, almost. So, and this is hopefully the last field I'm planting with this piece of equipment. I mean, it's done as well. It's a direct seeder. It's more than 3 meters, which is good for any starting piece of equipment. But really, it's kind of outweighed its usefulness. Now we have a big tractor. We can use much bigger equipment with it, and I'd kind of like to take advantage of that that capability, although again with big equipment comes big cost. And as I said, it's one of the 2 things I want this year, is a big seeder and just a harvester, preferably not one with 4-meter wide headers, but yeah, a harvester would be good, because we're going to have a ton of stuff to dig out the ground come not too long now. It's April, May, June. Does June start the harvesting? Oh. Yeah, no, July. July is when harvest starts. So come July, we are going to have to, or we're going to want to have a harvester. Now, I may, because of all the crops that we've been planting, and some of them are spring, some of them are winter, the oats are probably going to be ready in July. Most of the rest of our crops are probably going to be available around September. So we might be able to rent a harvester for the oats, and then hopefully pick one up in over July, August to do our other 1, 2, 3, 4 fields, and then maybe do some contracts with it. So we've still got at least some seeds left in this, so that's good. Looks like the mower didn't get everything, but I can come back now and do that as well. I'll lift that up. I'm just not even going to bother. So there is a tiny, tiny bit on the corner at the bottom there that I missed. And frankly, I'm not too fussed about. So we have 151 litres of seed left. You know what? I might go and just dump this in the garden, the outside garden, open air garden, greenhouse, the plastic greenhouse. Just as I said, we're done with seed. We're not going to be planting until what, June, July, no, September, October, November. So we'll buy some more seed next year, or late this year. Nah, okay. I'm probably going to be able to pick that up by hand. Just thinking. No, too heavy. 151 litres. 200 kilos. Just a little bit too heavy for one person. There we go. So, that's all the seed we have on the farm done with. And as I said, I'm going to pull this over to the other yard. At least for now. It's where I had it parked last time. But it's sort of occasional equipment that I don't need for the cows. The mowing equipment, we are mowing those fields multiple times a year, so I kind of want them on hand by the fields that have the grass in. If the grass fields were at this yard, obviously I would be putting the mowers over here. May end up moving the grain cart over here as well. The downside with this yard is it's that little bit further away from the store, so it takes longer to get stuff here. Probably should have a pressure washer here at some time as well. But for right now, so we've got the tree planter, which I don't know when I'm going to end up using that now. But we're all good for now. I will probably, I'll leave the slurry spreader over at the other yard, because obviously that's where the slurry is found. And if we get a manure thrower, we will put that over there as well. Just because when we're using that stuff, that's where it gets filled up from. But this yard has a seed storage point, it has liquid fertilizer storage, it has solid fertilizer storage. We're not using solid fertilizer in the... Good grief, I am making a complete pig's ear out of this. So much so that it's stuck. But yeah, if we get a solid spreader, I can put it over here. If I get... We've already got the liquid sprayer, we've got a liquid tank, so I can just move all that over here. I might do that, actually. But then, yeah, seeders, harvesters, all of that stuff can just live here. Okay. As I said, might want a pressure washer over here at some point. Not sure where I'm going to put it. So am I finished with this tractor? I think I'm finished with this tractor. at least for now. Now, one thing that is a thing in base game, and it might not be with precision farming, is the act of spreading herbicide on a field. I don't know if you can do that if you've already sprayed something. I know on base game, if you spray a field, you have to wait for one growth stage before you can do something else on that field. So if you spread solid fertilizer, as an example, on a field, you can't spray it for weeds or anything else until the next growth stage. I don't know if that's a thing on precision farming, but we do have some herbicide over there under that shed. So yeah, the deal with things like storing hay and straw and all of the fun cow things, obviously much easier to store that stuff here, like we have with the straw there in this shed and the straw spreader. If we get a feed mixer, that will probably be a thing that we store here as well, because that's where the cows are. So, but this sprayer, as I said, going to fill it up now, and I'm going to drive out onto this field and just turn all the things on, because there's no weeds on this field, but it hasn't been sprayed or mechanically pulled. I'm guessing that's why the tillage value on this field is so low, or is 50%. This was probably ploughed, and that's why there's no weeds. But we have, what is it? Tillage at the top, nitrogen's at the top. So nitrogen will bump up to 100% as soon as we harvest this field. And the weed control, all we need to do is, and I'm going to have to turn on the help screen again, automatic application rate is on, crop sensor is on. I don't think you have to turn on the weed thing. So that is now on, and it's not spraying anything. But this field has already jumped from 50 to 65, or whatever it was. The weed control, which is the middle, is now 100%. We've convinced the bureaucrats at Brussels that this field has been treated properly for weeds, and like we didn't even go anywhere. Just gaming the system. I'm a computer programmer, it's what I do. So the fact that I just did that potentially means that I need to, once I get to the yard, the mowing is done. I need to go and tidy up the edge of the field with the mower, and at that point, what's the next thing we do for that? I need to row the field. So we'll put the rake on the back of the little red tractor and do that too. Alrighty, hi, engine. This could do with a little bit of diesel in it, I guess. How about we go forwards? Forwards is a good direction. How about we turn on the mower? That's also a good plan. Okay. So for some reason the worker doesn't cut past the edge of the field. I do. Because, hey, who knows? But it does give us a little bit more grass in our final yield. And as you can see, I mean, the yield on this field is yellow. It's not the bestest. The ground just absolutely sucks. It's all clay. But that doesn't really matter. It's just the size of the field is big. So the amount of grass that we get on it is somewhere in the region of about 130,000 litres per cut. And with 4 cuts a year potentially, it's not like it's a problem. So, and of course the other thing I would like to do is replace this mower with front and rear butterfly. But we're going to have to then do all of our mowing with the John Deere. Not a bad thing, but yeah, it's going to put the mowing operation outside of the horsepower capabilities of this little tractor. But we can still use this to finish off the field with tedding if needed, windrowing and baling, because we've still got the tiny little round baler which only has 90 horsepower requirement, so no, not a big deal. Seem to be ending up here with a bunch of unconditioned grass, which I think is already on the ground. And probably comes from previous mows where I just didn't go all the way up to the edge. But anyway, that bit is now done. So we'll take this back down to the yard. I'll drop this off. Might drop it off in the main yard. Looks like it's been recently serviced, but yeah, spraying off the grass is probably a plan. Then we're going to grab the windrower. The rake. Now this thing the worker really doesn't do an amazing job with. It's sufficient. It lets, you know, it means that I don't have to row up the entire field, but there are sections of field I am going to have to go back and row up myself. But the more that gets done and the less that I have to do of that more that gets done is obviously a good result for me. And those of you late to the game, I am finding this windrower is, or this rake is a little bit better implemented than the Kun rake that Giants released. I think it was Giants released. It was part of their Farm Sim 2019 DLCs. But it really does seem to miss at the leftmost end. So where is it? It's this thing. And it's not a bad rake. I did use it on Oxygen David's first map in 19. But I'm finding the two veins at this end don't pick anything up. So you can end up with vast tracts of mist grass. What am I doing? I am doing worker. But this one does seem to work to the full width and just pick up the most things. It doesn't go to the edge of the field though, so there are going to be some very wide, probably about 3 row or rake widths of grass at each end of the field that don't get raked, and we're going to have to go back and do that manually. But for now, we're back in this dude. Not a lot of herbicide left on this, and I will drop the herbicide here as well. Okay, so this field, also small weeds. I'm a little unprepared for that, shall we say. Okay. Is anything happening? Yes. I'm seeing bits of... The weeds are a lighter shade of green here, and they are definitely getting killed. So this is working. It would not work base game without precision farming? Yeah. Without precision farming, this would not work. You would have to wait until May. Next growth stage. And growth stage happens on the first day of every month. So you could do it next day or next game day if you did it the last day of one month and the first day of the next month. Otherwise, events happen the first day of each month. So if you plant something, it doesn't matter if you plant it day 1 or day 28 if you choose to pay 28 days a month. What it does mean is that the seed will germinate and pop out of the ground on the first day of the month after you seeded, regardless of when you seeded. And all of the growth happens on the first day of the month. So you can plan your month as soon as you get to sort of wake up on the first day of the month. You can look and see, okay, what fields have what going on, which fields need to be harvested. But if you're playing a 3-day month, you've got 3 days to figure out, when are you going to actually do the harvesting. Same's true with, obviously, grass cutting. Now, the only thing about grass cutting is you wrap the bales take exactly 1 month to ferment into silage. So if you cut and bale on the 3rd day of a month, the bales are not going to finish fermenting until the 3rd day of the next month. And that's really the only exception. That's a duration thing rather than an event type of thing. So outside of that, growth stages, 1st day of the month, cow breeding, 1st day of the month. They go up a maturity level on the 1st day of each month. And in I think it's UK mortgage terms. Their mortgages they term it resting, where at the beginning of the month they'll calculate how much the interest for the coming month is going to be based on your current balance. If you have a pay at any time mortgage, if you have a mortgage that basically rests annually, it doesn't matter if you pay it down early. They don't take into account the reduction in principal until the mortgage gets rested. So, if your mortgage anniversary is the 1st of April, for example, and you pay down extra principal in January, that principal reduction is not going to happen until the 1st of April. So they're making money out of your principal reduction for the months leading up to the rest. But as soon as the mortgage is rested, is the term that they use, they'll recalculate your balance based on the new principal balance, and then recalculate the interest payment, and that interest amount is deducted from your account every month for the next 12 months. But so when I think of how FS22 works with its multi-month years, a farm is rested on the first day of each month. It calculates how much food animals are going to eat per hour or per day or whatever, and apportions it for the entire month. It basically says 30 cows will eat 3,000 litres of food in a month. You're paying a 3-day month, so I'm going to deduct 1,000 from the amount of food in the cow's trough for each game day that you're playing. So at the end of the month, you've used up the 3,000 that it determined was the cow's requirement. And then if you add new cows, I'm not sure adding new cows makes a difference until the month rest. Cows getting older happens on the first day of the month, and the first day of the month at midnight it calculates, okay, how much milk is the cow or your group of cows gonna produce per day for the coming month. It's why you can't change the number of the number of game days per month during a month. If we go there, can I get there and back in time? That one. Yeah, so if I change this now, the current month will run 3 days, and there's nothing I can do. There are going to be 3 days in April. The change to, if I said I'm going to change it to 5 days a month, then the change to 5 days will not happen until June. And then June will be factored as a 5-day month. Food usage, milk production per day, all of the other productions per day. How much flour are you going to produce per day? How much bread are you going to produce per day? I produce approximately 2 pallets of bread per game month. So in a 3-day month, I produce 2/3 of a pallet approximately per month. And that's how it works. Alrighty, let's spread our wings and fly around this field.